All right, now we're going to look at reflectivity. For reflectivity, or specular, I'll take my OCC map. I'll invert it. I'll adjust some of the color in it. So it's something like this. So I'll make everything shiny. Okay, so where you see white is where it's going to be shiny. All right. Now, I don't want all of that. So what I'll do is throw this up here. So this is where you can start grouping layers together. I can go like layer, group layers. And all this is my color map. And that won't, oh yeah, the background's, double click on that. That way it'll unlock it. Now you have the group layers. So what I like to do is just label this color and label this one spec. Turn off the color. So this one's on multiply at the very top. I'll change that to 100%. Again, this is like completely shiny everywhere, and I do not want that. So I got to pick out items that I do want shiny and then tone them down. In this case, I just choose black as a color, and I'm going to say that leather, I really don't want it shiny. Sure, it might have some gloss points from here to there, but I don't want them. So all these leather bands, I'm going to paint them black. Then I'll say, well, you know, some of this stuff is not as shiny. So what I'll do is knock down the opacity a little bit, make a new layer, and I'm going to tint this until I'm happy with it. I make one big huge pass and do it over again and do it over again. So this stuff is shiny. Maybe I want the blade a little bit more shiny. Oops. Don't leave any of those behind. And maybe I want the gems to be as shiny as everything. So I'll go back and erase those out. So that's a cheap version of a specular map. Again, you can do all kinds of crazy. What I've done in the past is grab some of the color, then go into the specular, paste it in. And I've done crazy things like take down the exposure ratio. Uncheck color, check the specular back in. So I'll go like that, and then set that to a different type, like soft light or hard light. Hard light works really good. And then just knock down the opacity just a little bit on it. So that'll put some texture into the specular. So I'll save this as, again, I like that ping, and it's not a bad thing. I like it. It's nice and clean, holds some cool data. Does render quite well too. So there we go. I have a specular map on my desktop. We go get the specular in there. Double click on it. Double click this to get a real-time preview. And now I have this sword, a material called sword, that I can map out. And now I can go over to textures. See how this one's a Lambert? I want a blend. This will give me my specular point, and now the whole sword should be shiny and ugly. Yep. So I'll middle mouse button click and drag this over to specular color. Now I won't be able to see that until I go into high quality rendering. Now what you're going to see is things like the blade are pseudo shiny. The gem is very shiny, but the leather is not shiny. And there's not a lot of, everything is so lit in the scene, but you can see that if I run a point light down it, how things are shiny and not shiny. Alright, sweet. So that's your specular map. And I think that marks the end of the sword. So let's go on to the assignment, announcing what that is.